Another major concern that Mum was really worried about was not just Phyllis's ability to listen to her and to Dad at home, but also she'd received a lot of quite serious complaints from the teachers at the school.
都有返過下 M 班嘅，老師就即係同我反映啦，大家一齊喺個 circle 入邊啦，咁當佢叫 Phyllis 過嚟嘅時候咧，咁佢都 ignore 咁樣。老師話啊，大家嚟呢度啦，坐低啦咁樣啦，佢係唔會嗌到佢埋位㗎，咁就不斷咁樣咧就要離開呢個 classroom， 咁佢自己識開門，咁就開門走咁樣啦，咁係要我抱住佢過去啦，不斷咁樣去捉佢返嚟咯。
If you watch the previous video, number 3, we talk about how we taught Phyllis to follow instructions with Mum and Dad and also with our staff. And this would really form the foundational base. This is an area that many parents are concerned about and worried about, that when they send their children to school, the teachers may have some concerns about their ability to participate in the activity. So on day 1, before we really started to do a lot of intervention, I did actually put him into our Little Learners class. Our Little Learners class is a class, small group of students, and start to practice and learn about how they can behave and work in a school setting. How he does in that class might be similar to maybe how he is in his classroom at school. Let's take a look at how he did in that class. It was a very difficult morning. Actually, he didn't really listen to any of the instructions that the teachers asked him to do. Even if they were quite insistent, he would often just play the toy he was playing. The only way you could get him to follow his instructions is you literally went over to him and took his hand and led him to the area that you wanted him to do. Just remotely being able to call his name and ask him to do things was basically impossible. So in this first video, you'll see we start at the beginning. We have some toys that he likes to play. We put those in the class. And Jane, who he's fairly familiar with at this point, she's going to ask him to leave the toys, come over and follow an instruction. And when he's done that, he can go back to play those toys. So really pretty similar to what we began with in video number 3. We're beginning this in the classroom with other children there. We were pretty successful with that. And so we now moved our attention to the teacher in the class, which is Robin. So in this example, it's going to be Robin that calls him over to come and follow some instructions and then again return back to playing his toys. So it's a very small demand that she's making on him at this point. But it's good because he's now starting to hopefully listen to the actual teachers in the school and not just the people, you know, in his individual work. In that class, there's more than Robin as a teacher, so we also work with Lydia, and she's going to ask him to come over and do a simple activity with her to tidy up some pens. Nothing too stressful, but he does have to leave the thing he's playing with, which he really likes, get up and go over there to do that job before he's allowed back to go play with those toys. We had about an hour and a half in the class to do the intervention with him. And by the end of the hour and a half, we were able to start to do some more activities that looked a little bit more like maybe things he might do in the classroom. The amount of work he has to do at this point is quite a bit more. So he has to contain his impulse to run back to the toys and play with all of those things and listen to what Robin has to say.
拜三喎，仲有呢個係禮拜四，你立俾我。係喎，我哋今日咧睇下係禮拜四喎，6月2號喎。最後咧呢度，禮拜5攞埋俾我啊！呢個。好啦，唔該晒。
It's great to see him in a classroom setting, listening, following some simple instructions, getting some things done to the point where he's now really starting to engage in some adult-led activities, things that might be good for him to learn in a school setting. So it was good that we have our classroom here as a foundation to sort of teach some of those skills. It's heartwarming to see that the parents are able to carry out some of these things to help them in their everyday lives to reduce their stress and increase their child's skills in managing their every day-to-day problems.